WrestleMania 42 is in the books then, another showcase of the Immortals done and dusted. And that means one thing, it's the start of another year in the WWE universe. Let's take a look at 5 things WWE must do this year. Hello and welcome to the Big Match Belly YouTube channel. This is the first video we're doing on the channel. I'm Harvey Bell, planning to bring you lots of WWE content. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, please do press like on the video and subscribe to the channel down below. But let's get into the first point. Give Obafemi some gold. He is probably as complete of a package as a superstar as we've seen in many years. He is obviously massive. He carries a lot of aura. He's over with the fans, good in ring, good on the microphone. What more do you want from a WWE superstar? It looks like they're pushing him because it seems like he's retired Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. We obviously don't know if Brock is done for sure, but he laid his gloves, he laid his shoes in the ring, and that's usually a very good sign that somebody is going to retire. And if Obafemi can have that on his CV, that he retired Brock Lesnar, one of the most dominant wrestlers in WWE history, that says a lot for what WWE think about Obafemi. Obviously, as well, after WrestleMania, Roman Reigns sort of called Obafemi out in his press conference because the fans were chanting for Obafemi, and Roman Reigns said, let's see what happens in the summer if Oba has a good summer. Maybe SummerSlam, Obafemi versus Roman Reigns. But in any case, Obafemi is really, really strong. It's been a while since somebody came up from NXT and had this sort of immediate impact. So if Obafemi can get gold soon, then I think that would be absolutely brilliant. I think we're probably talking about a matter of when rather than if. Spotlight the men's tag team division. And I say this because neither of the tag team championships were defended on WrestleMania. Of course, the Vision were involved in the opening match of night number 1. But I think back to a couple of years ago, where I know it was all linked in with the Bloodline story, but Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens won the tag team championships from the Usos in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania. And then just 2 years later, we're looking at the fact that they're not even being defended on the show. And for me, that's really hard to deal with when you're actually looking at the divisions and saying there's lots of strong talent in there. Especially over on SmackDown, the in-ring tag team talent is incredibly strong. You've got Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, the Wyatt Six and the MFTs had a really good street fight on the SmackDown just before WrestleMania, showcasing just how good they are in the ring. Maybe they're better in the ring and not quite yet over with the fans, quite like how WWE would like them to be, but there is definitely enough tag team talent at the minute that the championship should have a bit more of a spotlight on major shows like WrestleMania and during premium live events. And currently, I just don't think they're being utilised to their full potential. I think one reason for that is potentially the last generation of big tag teams, certainly when the Usos got as big as they did, when the New Day were in their pomp. I think they had been helped by the fact that the Hardys had obviously come back, the Dudley Boys had come back, so that last era of hardcore tag team wrestlers were coming back and almost helping the next generation, whereas maybe the current crop of tag teams don't necessarily have that help and that exposure to help them get over, but they do definitely have the talent, and I hope WWE spotlights that across the next year or so. Before we get into point number 3, as you probably know, this is a very new YouTube channel to the point that you are making history by watching the first video on the channel. So if you could, please do press subscribe if you're enjoying the video, leave a like on the video too, and get involved in the comment section down below. So hopefully we can bring more people in to enjoy watching and talking about WWE content together. Introduce a TV championship. Now, I just think this could be lots of fun. If we had a TV championship on Raw, a TV championship on SmackDown, I don't know what you'd call them. Have fun in the comment section. Tell me what you would call the TV championships on both shows. But I think it would just be fun for certainly the people at the bottom of the card to have a title that was defended every week on every show. And, you know, it could be people like Matt Cardona, Kit Wilson going for these titles. They change hands pretty much every week just so people get a taster of having a belt and you see what they're like as a champion, albeit probably for a very short amount of time. I feel like doing that as well would probably elevate the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship as well, because they wouldn't be seen as the bottom titles. They would then actually be the mid-card titles like they're supposed to be. And it would almost be a step up that if you do well with the TV Championship, you might then be in line for an Intercontinental or United States Championship run. And I think especially somebody like Matt Cardona could be really good to kick it off. He could hold it for a couple of weeks, then maybe lose it. But I think it's somebody like him that would really benefit from a title like this. And it would just be a really good way to keep people intrigued in matches that maybe otherwise don't really have a lot on them if you just had a title involved. I think it would just be a lot of fun, to be honest. I mean, we had the 24/7 championship a couple of years ago, and I know people weren't overly invested in that, but it was quite a lot of fun. And I think just having that, you know, it doesn't hurt anyone to have a TV championship, and it just gives people lots of exposure and makes some boring matches a little bit more interesting. Bring SmackDown back to 2 hours, or use the extra hour a lot better. And I say this because obviously since SmackDown has gone to 3 hours, it kind of feels like a little bit of a drag. And I think that's just because the hour isn't being used right. We're getting a lot more backstage filler content. And I just think you could use that so much better. You could have so much more in-ring time, especially, you know, there's been problems, hasn't there, elevating younger talent. People have said that they want the people coming up from NXT to have more TV time. And you could definitely do that with the extra hour on SmackDown. In fact, I assumed that was probably what that hour was going to be for. But it just hasn't transpired to be that way. So I think you either need to cut down that final hour of SmackDown or just generally find a better way to use it. And that links in very much to our final point. Have more matches on premium live events, because again, it comes back to showcasing that talent. I mean, people like Io Sky and Aleister Black missed out on WrestleMania, and they've both had really good years in WWE and some of, you know, WWE's biggest in-ring talent, and they didn't even get, you know, not even a filler match on WrestleMania. And I feel like WWE wants every match to be a main event, which I kind of get because, you know, you're trying to sell tickets, you're trying to sell the show. But having those slightly lesser matches on a premium live event card makes the main event feel a little bit more special. Certainly when I was growing up, premium live events or pay-per-views as they were at the time had 7 or 8 or 9 matches on them. And, you know, they all felt fun. And maybe not every match was for the biggest championship, but they could have been a lot of fun. You know, you might have had a mid-carder versus a bottom-carder in an Extreme Rules match, and it might have been fun, and that's okay. And I think not every match just has to be a main event. And I think, you know, you then get a lot more talent on TV. You get people feeling happier because they've got a pay-per-view match. It gives more of a spotlight that if they do well on that pay-per-view match, maybe they then go to a bigger pay-per-view like Survivor Series, like SummerSlam, and eventually get themselves on the WrestleMania card. It also gives those feuds that are happening on SmackDown and Raw that aren't quite big enough for a big show, it gives them a chance to actually have something in front of a big audience, in front of a big TV crowd as well. So, you know, I just don't think it hurts anyone to have a few more matches on a premium live event card. So those are 5 things I hope WWE do between now and the next WrestleMania. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Do you agree with what I've said here? Do you think I'm talking a load of nonsense? Because this is the first video on the channel, so you'll have to let me know. But in any case, I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, just enjoy Monday Night Raw tonight when it comes. Raw after Mania. It's always an exciting one.